Going through a separation. It's one of the toughest transitions you can face in life. But I want you to know you are not alone on this journey. So in this explainer, we're going to draw from some expert resources to offer a really supportive guide through all of it. The emotional stuff, the practical things, the legal steps to help you manage this new horizon. Okay, let's begin.
Wow, this image, it really captures that feeling, doesn't it? That sense of walking into a totally unknown future. It can feel incredibly lonely, maybe even a little scary and overwhelming. But it's a journey so many have walked before, and the very first step is just acknowledging how tough it really is.
And right from the get-go, let's hold on to this. This is the fundamental truth. I know it might not feel like it right now, but this situation, it will not last forever. Our whole guide here is built on the belief that there is a path forward, a path to healing, and yes, even to happiness.
So, we're going to frame this as a journey with a few distinct stages. Think of it like a map. We'll start with the emotional turmoil, that roller coaster. Then we'll move through the practical stuff like co-parenting and finances. And we'll finish up by looking at how you can truly rebuild and recover.
First up, let's talk about the emotional side of things. Honestly, it's often the most intense and confusing part of this whole process. So just understanding what's happening inside you can be an incredibly powerful first step on this journey.
It's so important to just sit with this for a moment. This isn't a small thing you're going through. The source material is crystal clear on this. This experience ranks right up there with the most difficult life events anyone can face. So whatever you're feeling, it is a completely valid response to a major life event.
And those feelings, they can be a real storm. It's totally normal to feel intense sadness, fear, resentment, all of it. But you know what? It's also normal to feel a sense of relief. And what's really confusing is that these feelings can all exist at the same time, swinging back and forth. That's okay. It's all part of the process.
So here's the crucial point that can help it all make sense. This isn't just about a relationship ending. It's a profound form of grief. You're not just losing a partner. You might be grieving the loss of your family structure, your home, maybe even friends, your financial security, and even a part of your own identity. Seeing it as grief can help you understand that emotional chaos.
Now check this out, because this is really interesting. This data shows who actually starts the separation process. While a lot of them are joint decisions, almost 42%, women are actually more likely to be the one to initiate it than men. And this is a really important piece of the puzzle because it helps explain why you and your former partner might be in completely different emotional places.
And this slide right here shows that difference so clearly. The person who kicks things off, the initiator, often feels their worst distress before the actual split. They've been thinking about it, processing it for a while. But for the non-initiator, the shock and the pain, that really peaks after the separation. This mismatch explains so much, right? It's why one person might seem ready to move on while the other feels like their world is just starting to fall apart.
This quote. It just says it all, doesn't it? The highs, the lows, the confusion, that feeling that you're just stuck on this emotional roller coaster that will never, ever end. But you know what? It's also a powerful reminder of the incredible resilience of people who have come out the other side. So, how do you manage this really tricky dynamic, especially if one person is still hoping you'll get back together? Well, it all comes down to boundaries. Here's some clear, practical advice. You have to be unambiguous that the relationship is over. Things like restricting contact, avoiding those deep, intimate conversations, and giving a kind but really firm no to reconciliation, it can prevent so much false hope and a cycle of pain for both of you. And setting those clear boundaries isn't just for your own emotional well-being. It's absolutely fundamental for our next, and for many people, the most important section, protecting your children through this massive transition.
Study after study shows the same thing. The single biggest factor in how well kids adjust is the level of conflict between their parents. So the real question becomes, how can you, as a parent, shield them from that conflict and help them adapt in a healthy way?
So here are some of the golden rules for co-parenting. Never, ever speak badly about the other parent in front of your children. Don't use them to pass messages back and forth. And this is so crucial. Reassure them over and over again that the separation is not their fault. That is a weight they should never have to carry. And finally, try to maintain stability through familiar routines, school, bedtime, activities. It's incredibly comforting for them when their world feels like it's been turned upside down.
Now, when it's time to make these arrangements official, you've basically got two main options. A parenting plan is a written, signed agreement that's pretty flexible, and you can change it as your kids' needs change. It's not filed in court. A parenting order, on the other hand, is filed with the court and it's legally binding. That means there are serious consequences if you don't follow it. Understanding which one fits your situation is absolutely key.
Thinking about legal parenting arrangements leads us right into the next major hurdle, the practical, and let's be honest, sometimes daunting side of things, securing your financial and legal future.
Okay, let's not sugarcoat this. The financial impact is real. On average, women see about a 21% drop in their household income after a separation. A lot of times that's due to things like taking time off from a career to be a caregiver. Just acknowledging this reality is the first step towards planning for it and getting the support you need.
Now listen, this is a super important piece of practical advice. Get legal advice before you sign a single thing. I mean it. Even if things are friendly, you have to understand your rights to make sure the outcome is fair. You can make a property settlement official with something called consent orders, which get filed with the court to make the agreement legally binding and final.
Okay, we need to pause here and talk about something incredibly serious. The statistics on violence are, well, they're stark. And it is vital to know that the time of separation can be a period of really high risk. Now, this information isn't meant to scare you, but to empower you with awareness.
Let me be absolutely clear about this. Your safety and the safety of your children is the #1 priority. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important. Violence and abuse are never, ever okay, and there are services out there that can help you create a safety plan if you need one. So, for our final section, let's look forward. After navigating the emotional storm and all the practical arrangements, the focus shifts entirely to you, to rebuilding your life and finding your own path to recovery.
You hear the term self-care all the time, right? But in this situation, it is not a luxury, it's a survival strategy. Talking to people you trust, getting professional support from a counselor, and taking care of your physical health. Exercise, good food, sleep, these are the absolute building blocks of your recovery. You can't pour from an empty cup, and this is the time to start refilling yours.
You know, in a situation that can make you feel so powerless, it's so important to remember the choices you do have. You can choose to accept the reality of the situation. You can choose to just focus on surviving one day at a time. You can choose to ask for help. And most importantly, you can choose to see yourself not as a victim, but as the architect of your new life.
And we're going to end with this beautiful and hopeful quote. It acknowledges the storm, but it promises a brighter future. The journey through separation is a really difficult one, but it is also a journey that has an end. So the question I'll leave you with is this. What does that sunshine look like for you? And what's one small step you can take towards it today?